This is Audible Grown with Paul Brunel and Stephen Carroll, the pop culture podcast covering sports, movies, and everything in between. Enjoy the show. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the all-new Audible Grown podcast. We have a lot of new episodes coming up soon. We're really excited. This is episode 13 of Audible Grown, and we have an awesome episode for you guys today. Today, we are doing each our top 10 video games of all time.
Yes.
Now, we haven't said what the games are ahead of time. We don't know each other's lists.
No.
And so we're going to be doing this live. We're going to be finding out live. We're going to talk about our picks and why we picked them. It's going to be a great night. How you doing today, Steve?
We hope you didn't forget who we are.
No, it's been 2 months.
While.
It's been 2 months. The pandemic is still going on, but our lovely friend Craig is still editing our episodes for us from his house. Thank you, Craig. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, Craig.
How you doing, Steve?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing good. We were in the middle of football season. I guess that's off topic, but
I've
been having a lot of fun with that.
Happy to be doing this again.
Yeah. So PS5 comes out exactly 1 month from today, and we've done some gaming stuff on the podcast before, but we kind of want to do one final little surprise for you guys, our top 10 video games of all time, going as far back as we want. These go back all the way to my childhood, so I'm really excited. Steven, are you ready?
Yeah.
All right, audience, I hope you're ready. If you would like to interact with us, please feel free to comment your top 10 video games of all time to all three of our listeners. I'm just kidding.
How about this? If you want to get in on the conversation, I use the hashtag VG Top 10.
Wonderful. That's perfect. That's perfect. VG Top 10, and talk about your top 10 video games of all time across all platforms. Well, Steven, I'm probably going to go with my number 10 is the first PlayStation video game I've ever played, and that is Spider-Man PlayStation 1.
All right.
We got a PS1 in 2000. Our cousin was giving it away. We got it, I think, for free. And the first game that we got 20 years ago for PlayStation was Spider-Man. And very few games have left quite a mark on my childhood, like Spider-Man did. The acting, the music, the super awesome... If you played Spider-Man on the PS1, you know about the super awesome...
I did.
Yeah, Doc Ock Carnage boss at the end that chased you like through tunnels. It was the most stressful conclusion to a game ever. But everything about it was great. Stan Lee did the narration. Venom was kind of introduced as this cool anti-hero character who was in like a competition with Spider-Man. You kind of fought a wide range of his villains, like Mysterio, the symbiotes, Lizard, Scorpion. There's something about the atmosphere of that game that kind of really, cemented itself into my memory.
At the time, it just put you right in the middle of a superhero action movie. So. Yeah,
and I can already hear the phrases in my mind. I'm already at full health. Golden. Every time you collected like a comic book collectible. And that's what really made me like Spider-Man. He was so strong in that game. You could pick up almost everything and throw it at henchmen. That's where we learned the word henchmen. There's a lot of firsts for this game in this game for me, and I think that's why I put it at my number 10.
Yeah.
How about you, Steve?
I have for my number 10. We all know I'm a huge sports fan, and most of my life is sports games anyway. But at number 10, I have NFL Street 2.
Nice. Please explain. I know a little bit about NBA Street, but NFL Street I'm not too familiar with.
NFL Street is, it's an arcade style 7-on-7 football simulation.
Oh, wow.
But the cool thing is they had power-ups in the game. that you could run off walls and jump off things. It was so much fun.
So a lot more like flexibility that you didn't get in
Yeah.
like the main titles.
Yeah.
Wow, was that the last one they made?
They made a NFL Street 3, but it wasn't
Not
as
as good.
good as 2.
It's not often that multiple sequels improve upon the
Yeah.
previous. It only happens sometimes.
I actually like NFL Street 2 better than the original NFL Street.
Oh, nice. That's kind of like how Need for Speed Underground 2
Yeah,
and let's see, my gosh, Tony Hawk's Underground 2 is actually the same
Yeah.
thing. Really improved. Now, PS2, I think, right? Is that PS2?
it was PS2 and the original Xbox.
Okay, nice. Nice. Well, my number 9 is actually another PlayStation 1 game that we got shortly after Spider-Man, but my 9th favorite game of all time is Spyro the Dragon 2, Ripto's Rage. And I gotta say, one of the main reasons is that number 9 alone, or even in my top 10, is Stuart Copeland's phenomenal soundtrack. If you're not familiar with Stuart Copeland, he did the music. He's very has like an extremely unique drumming style and way of composing music that you just don't forget the songs when you hear them. His score or his soundtrack for the first, I think, 4 Spyro games, he did 3 on PS1, and then he did Year of the Dragon, are completely unforgettable. When you hear a Spyro the Dragon score, or even just a level track,
You know it.
you know it immediately. Instantly. And Spyro had a lot of other games in its series, but Stuart Copeland did the first 4, and those are the most recognizable. And then not to mention this the pure level variety. You know what I mean? The game was so smooth. The gameplay was unbelievable. It was so easy to pick up. The levels were very atmospheric is kind of the right word. I'm probably going to use that word a lot. But, you know, when something's really atmospheric, it kind of imprints into your the nostalgic part of your brain.
Yes.
You know what I mean? You know exactly what I mean.
Yes.
You know, so you have like levels like Scorch, Magma Cone, Zephyr, Colossus, and you would go through these like portals, like these dome-shaped doorways, and they would lead you into each world, and you would collect gems, and you would be able to shoot fire and get different kinds of power-ups, and there would be like a few hub worlds like Autumn Plains or Winter Tundra, and I just remember the sound effects, the music, the graphics at the time were amazing. I think it came out in 2001. Spyro 2 is a game I'll never forget, and I actually had the original PS1 disc for like well over like 15 years after I finished playing it.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, and it's so popular, in fact, that they actually remade all 3 Spyro games for the PS4, so please go take a look. If you can't get the original PS1 games, definitely play those.
Yes.
Yeah. My friend, you're number 9.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
To talk a little Tony Hawk.
I'm always ready for Tony Hawk.
So my number 9 is Tony Hawk American Wasteland.
Oh, classic. That was kind of like the beginning of the later years, right? After Underground.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was right after Underground 2, I believe.
Yeah, like 2007 or something like
Yeah.
that. Yeah. Is that your favorite Tony Hawk title of all time? Like, what makes that? What makes that in your top 10?
Just because it was a little different, and it wasn't like the first few Tony Hawk games. Like, it was pretty much an open world. Well, as much of an open world as you can get in that type of game.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
yeah, with those PS2 limitations.
I just like the little variety that game had.
Yeah, because you know the Tony Hawk games, they really like the more installments that came out, like the bigger each one got, and like map size, like trick repertoire, the music. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that was on PS2, I believe.
And you could ride like a bike in that game too.
Oh, that's right. I remember that. And I don't know if it might have been Underground 2, but I remember you got the option to like ride the back of cars as they drove on the street.
Yes.
You know? Wow. Lots of fun.
Yes.
I knew a Tony Hawk game would be on here somewhere. Underground 2 just barely, it almost made my list, but not quite.
I actually have 2 more Tony
All right.
Hawk games.
Good. You can make up for what I don't have on mine.
Yeah.
Tony Hawk will live forever. And the new remake is like, the reviews are unbelievable.
I haven't seen it yet.
I've heard best game of the year so far, maybe.
Dying to see it.
Yeah, I'm going to get it. I'm so excited. So my number 8 is a more recent game. And if you're familiar with Fumito Ueda, he's the developer of Ico and Shadow of the Colossus. His third game is number 8, The Last Guardian. It was announced, I think, like in 2009, and it didn't come out until January of 2017. And if you're not familiar with the kind of games he makes, his games are very minimalistic, very heavy on atmosphere and tone, and what's the right word for it? Like I don't know. It's something. It's just the way the music and everything comes together to create this very like lonely but beautiful like landscape. It's like art.
Yeah.
His games are like really like art, like paintings.
When you say
Expressive, very expressive. And this one focuses around a small boy and his pet, who's called Toriko or Trico. It's actually Trico. It's the third game in the Ico series, so it's Trico, I should say.
Yeah.
And you are simply just on this journey with this creature who's trying to get back to a specific location. I won't spoil it if you hadn't played it, but it's everything you'd expect from an Ueda game. It's heartbreaking, it's emotional, it's funny, it's joyful, it's excellent. It's the graphics are amazing. I know he's working on a fourth game, but if that was the last game that he ended up making, I would have said job well done.
Yes.
You know, The Last Guardian was definitely worth the wait, and they are actually making a movie of it.
I'm surprised if that was your list, to be honest. I thought it'd be higher.
Yeah, you know how this list is structured? It's like 50% nostalgia and 50% like if the game's actually, you know what I mean? Like I really weighed this.
Yeah.
But it's a masterpiece nonetheless. I can't wait for the film adaptation.
Yep.
Nice.
So my number 8 is one of the few non-sport games on my list. And it's Destroy All Humans.
I love that. Oh my god, I love that series so much. That was the one you're talking about. That was on my honorable mentions, right? Earlier before we recorded.
Yeah, but there's also another one.
Oh, there is, okay.
I mentioned, I believe so.
Yeah.
But,
don't you love Crypto? He's so sassy.
But I love Crypto. I fell in love with him.
He's great. He's so great.
Instantly.
Yep.
It's fantastic. I don't have enough words to say all the good things I want to say about this.
Oh, please do.
I mean, it's such an entertaining game. You laugh the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
It's such a simple story, and like it's not meant to make humans look bad, but you have to be able to make fun of yourself.
It's great satire, yeah. It's excellent.
So cool. It's so funny.
Yeah, that game's great because that actually got a remake just that came out a few months ago.
Non-stop tropes. It's crazy.
Yeah, the mothership and Cryptos is so great. I know the first one takes place in the 50s. The second one takes place in the 60s.
And it did just get a remake on the PlayStation 4. So.
Yeah, and I don't think this is the last game on mine or yours list that's end up either getting a remake or a remaster of some sort. No. My number 7 is I'm going to refresh my memory here. My number 7 is the last, or at least for now, the last main game and a major franchise. My number 7 is Uncharted 4.
Oh, I love the Uncharted games.
Yeah, it was so hard. I originally had all 4 of these games plus the Lost Legacy.
They did not make my list, however.
Yeah, I think we both have like those games that are in each other's honorable mention, so to speak.
It's so hard.
Yeah.
With the amount of games.
Yeah.
But I love the whole Uncharted series.
Yeah, Uncharted is great. And the reason I'm picking number 4 isn't because it's the freshest in my memory. It came out only 4 years ago. It's because Naughty Dog is so good that each game gets better. Is better than the last one.
That's why they take so long. To make these games.
That's why there was 7 years between The Last of Us 1 and 2. But every game in the series is a masterpiece, but this one is like the epitome. You know, you're introduced to Troy Baker, who plays his brother Sam. And Troy Baker, obviously, you know, is Joel and as Joker in Batman Origins. And it's just this perfect combination of action, adventure, stealth, incredible dialogue, fleshing out the story perfectly. You would always think, you know, how can you do a 4th one? It makes sense. If it makes sense story-wise, go for it. And they definitely had more story to tell. And the epilogue is perfect and still kind of sets itself up for a sequel. So I'm really hoping we get one. Because I'll take as much Uncharted as I can get.
Yeah.
But the 4th one really perfected the series, I think, in every way, shape, and form.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, for sure.
My number 7 is another non-sport game. Life is Strange.
Oh, yeah, I know. That game got so many accolades.
Oh.
We watched, like, the beginning of the second one together.
It's
which was really
such
cool.
a good game. It takes me back to, like, those teenage, adolescent years. Like, it's the whole story about people in that age group. It's so revolutionary for games nowadays.
Yeah, it's really cool because it's separated into episodes. So it's like
5 episodes.
So it gives them it gives them a chance to almost write it like a TV show.
Yes.
So you get to it's almost like you're playing a television show, I guess is the right word for it.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. What sticks out to you about it like the most, do you think?
I like the decision-based game.
Yeah.
And knowing that the decision you make influence the outcome of the game itself. I always had a soft spot for games like that. So
yeah, like really, like realistic characters.
Yeah.
But and there's also a touch of like the supernatural there, right? Like powers and stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, I won't spoil it, but yeah, you're right. There's like it's very character driven. Like those are extremely character driven games.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep. And I believe they did Life is Strange 2, and they did like an in between one, right?
Yeah.
Like a little one episode kind of thing.
Yep.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, Life is Strange. That is a great choice.
I didn't like 2 as much, but I loved the first one.
Yeah. Yeah, because the first one centers around, I think, a girl,
Max
right?
And
Yeah.
Chloe.
Yeah, that's right. Yep. My number 6 is a PS2 game that I first played with my grandmother back in 2001. And it was the start of just an incredible series, actually, by Naughty Dog. So my number 6 is Jak and Daxter, the Precursor Legacy.
Yeah.
Jak and Daxter, I will boldly say, is the best PlayStation 2 franchise of all time. Or one of the best. Obviously, you can say Metal Gear is arguably up there. Tony Hawk, Need for Speed. But the 4 games that Naughty Dog made, Jak and Daxter 1, 2, 3, and X, the racing game, were all masterpieces and told such an incredibly... Like, I was awed as a kid by how deep and how well done and how fleshed out the story was. And that's the game that got me in love with, even more so than like Crash Bandicoot and Spyro, the 3D action platformer. You know, like to this day, I'm not a huge fan of the multiplayer world because games like that showed me what.
Am I.
Yeah, like games like that showed me what a single player story can do.
Yeah.
You know, it's so fun. It's. And I'm going to use this term every single game because that's what really influences me. But it's dripping with atmosphere. Music is fantastic. The characters are fantastic. The worlds are just so well made. I'll never forget just the feeling I got playing the first level, Sentinel Beach. And I forget what the village is called, but Sentinel Beach is like, it was just this beautiful, beautiful beach. And it was like the opening hub level, and it was just, the music was so peaceful. And there was something about it that instantly grabbed me, and I fell in love with Jak and Daxter. And it's actually quite sad because there hasn't been a new Naughty Dog installment in 15 years.
Man.
You know?
Decade and a half.
Yeah. They had Jak X in 2005, and then they had The Lost Legacy. No, not The Lost Legacy. I can't even remember, but Jak 4 came out in 2009. And then he showed up in like Battle Royale games, but they've never had a real proper sequel to Jak 3. Jak 4, I should say.
Yeah.
But the first one is just a masterpiece in level design and platforming. It's one of those early PS2 games that I think everyone has to play or has played, and I don't think you're going to find too many people who didn't like it.
No. I don't think so either.
No.
So my number 6 is back to Tony Hawk.
All right, let's do it.
Tony
Is it Underground?
Hawk Underground 2.
Nice. Okay, that's the second game that was on my honorable mentions.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, I just remember playing this as a younger kid, like just having a blast every time I put this game in.
Yeah.
I just enjoy it so much.
Yeah, like one of those times where you never have a bad time playing.
Yeah, like it's so much fun. Like you can get hours of fun out of that game.
And if I remember correctly, that was the first game, or maybe Underground was, but Underground was the first series where you could actually walk around and get off your skateboard.
Yeah.
And like there was like more of an open world feel.
Yeah.
Yeah, Underground 2 was awesome.
The music.
Of course.
And Tony Hawk games are always spot on.
Yeah, there's like, yeah. I mean, that's why they named the Tony Hawk documentary, because I'm pretending I'm a Superman.
Yeah, that song is iconic when it comes to that series of games.
So why would you say that Underground 2 is slightly better than American Wasteland?
I'm sorry, it's the first Underground.
Oh, the first one, okay.
My bad.
Yeah.
It's the first
Yeah.
Underground. But I just think for the time it came out, and like you said, it's the first game where you could get off your board and explore.
Yeah, like a little bit more of that open world.
And it just added a whole different dimension to the game. Like, I know it's a cliche, but it opened up a lot more possibilities to what you could do.
Yeah, that's true. Because, when you do something like that, all the developers have to follow in that kind of level of innovation. You know, because like for the first time ever, being able to come off your board was a huge deal in Tony Hawk.
Yeah.
Like it added so much more depth to the game. You know what I mean?
And I feel like they sort of got away from the levels in that game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like the structure almost.
Yeah. So it was.
Yeah. Well, moving on. We're almost halfway through with our list. My number 5, my 5th favorite game of all time, is a game that I'm certain my brother Alex would agree is probably just as impactful for him. But it is Sly 2 Band of Thieves that came out in 2004. Yeah. I would argue it's the best of the Sly Cooper titles, Sly 2. It took what Sly did, Sly 1, and just improved literally every single thing. The level design, the depth of the story. It has real characters, real character development, real story arcs, real fleshed out villains, incredible hub worlds, incredible, here I go again, atmosphere. I mean, the first level is in Paris. You go to places like Paris, Canada, Transylvania. Just great, great, great hub worlds. An airship in the sky. And one of my favorite all-time video game villains was made even better in this one, Clockwork. If you're not familiar with Clockwork, he is an ancient bird that was so driven by hate for the Cooper clan, he covered himself in metal and is powered by this thing called the hate chip, which literally drives his desire to kill the Cooper clan. Like, that's really mature storytelling for a kid's game. Like, themes of hatred and revenge and lineage.
I never would have knew that was a kid.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, you can describe it in a way where you're like, is that an HBO series? No, it's a kid's game. There were a lot more brave back then, where how they they trusted your intelligence.
You could get away with more back then.
Yeah, a lot. And then of course Kevin Miller as Sly Cooper is just spectacular. He still interacts with his fans to this day. I've talked with him a few times on Twitter, like he's a friend. You know what I mean? He reaches out to your fans like crazy.
Magical.
Oh, amazing, amazing. He loves Sly Cooper so much he plays it live on Twitch with his fans almost every week.
Nice.
And of course, I can't talk about Sly 2 without talking about the incredible final hub world. I remember as a kid playing it with me and my brother, and basically the story goes that and I'm sorry about spoilers, but this game is 16 years old. But you find out that the inspector that's working with Carmelita Fox is actually betrays you, and she's been trying to use you to get the Clockwork parts to rebuild Clockwork and become Clockla, which is like the female version. But she ends up piloting Clockwork at the end and is flying around the airship, and you're trying to reach her. But the whole time, that whole hub level, you're up in the sky, surrounded by the sounds of wind and machinery and the distant sound of metal wings flapping in the wind. And I remember that had such...
God.
Oh, it was so epic. It was so epic. It had such an impact on the both of us. Just the atmosphere again. Here I go. Forgive me. But that's one of the reasons why games impact me so much. But the atmosphere, the music, the sound effects, it was so epic to us back then. I'll never forget Sly 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My number 5, and you know me, Paul, I always bring up this game to you.
Yes, this is the only one that I knew before we walked in.
Even to the day, Breathe the Steel 99.
Oh, yeah. You go right ahead and you talk about it.
Me growing up a massive sports fan, I wasn't even a huge hockey fan back then, but just the arcade style of hockey, and like it's so much fun. It goes by so fast and you never get bored. Like, that game in my mind will always be legendary.
Yeah.
And you have so many players on every team that are now hockey Hall of Famers. Like, it's crazy.
Would you say, and I apologize if this game I'm about to mention is later up in your list, but is that the hockey version of ESPN NFL 2K5?
Yes.
Yeah.
That is the hockey
like that fleshed
version.
out. Yeah, like that full experience.
Yeah, but it's different in 2K5 because Breathe the Steel is more like that arcade version, whereas 2K5 is like the straight up simulation type.
Yeah, yep. Yeah, two different styles of gameplay.
So,
Yeah. And I remember when we were talking about it, when you first mentioned it, you were talking about how nostalgic the opening music was on the menu.
yeah.
You know, isn't that stuff awesome? How that stuff like gets into our minds.
Yeah, and it's been in my mind, like, ever since the first time I put that game into my Nintendo 64.
Yeah, you just never forget some things ever.
Like, I was 6 years old when that game came out. Here I am in my late 20s, still talking about it like it was yesterday. So
Wow. Yeah, incredible.
yeah,
Yep. So we're moving on to our number 4 picks, and this is where I really started having a lot of trouble. But my number 4 pick is the original, the great, the incredible, the landmark, the mind-blowing Red Dead Redemption for PlayStation 3. Man, was this an incredibly tough one, these top 4. But Red Dead Redemption is probably to this day one of the greatest open-world video games of all time. Topped by only a few, including its sequel. But Red Dead Redemption took it's what made me... Like, there's always that thing that made you fall in love with a certain genre. And when you're talking about Westerns, everyone always has a movie that got them into Westerns. For my case, it was a video game. This is what got me into the Western genre. You know what I mean? You know?
Made you realize how cool
Yeah.
the Western genre could be.
Yep. I ended up liking the game, that whole series so much, I actually discovered there's like a little bit of a desert in our own state in Rhode Island that I've been to a few times.
When you told me that,
Yeah.
I was blown away. I'm like, what do you mean, desert?
Oh, it's great.
in Rhode Island?
It's great. But that game, the storytelling is just through the roof. Of course, when you're playing a Rockstar game, you're getting storytelling. But I would even go as far as to say that I prefer Red Dead Redemption over some of the Grand Theft Auto titles.
Yeah.
Maybe it's equal like GTA 5.
Me too.
But I would say it's even better than Grand Theft Auto 4 or Vice City or 3 or San Andreas even maybe. But of course, you know, John Marston is one of the most unforgettable characters in video game history, even though he was only introduced 10 years ago.
Yeah, really.
He's already iconic. Yeah, with like maybe even like characters like Snake and Crash Bandicoot and, you know, Sly Cooper and stuff like that. But, you know, you're on your horse under the open sun, you know, riding along through the desert, shooting bandits, taking over hideouts, following his incredible journey with his family, going through, you know, late 1800s, early 1900s towns, and, you know, seeing all the technology and seeing the nature and the landscapes. They really outdid themselves. You know, you'll never forget the first time you played Red Dead Redemption.
Talk about a game that was way ahead of its
Oh gosh,
time.
very much so. Yep. Again, like if you had a PS3, you played Red Dead Redemption.
Yeah.
You know. How about you?
My number 4 is the most recent game on the list, and it's not a sports game. It's Ghost of Tsushima.
Beautiful. Please.
I love this game.
Oh gosh.
First of all, you want to talk about open world?
Oh man.
And a vast open world with one hell of a story to boot.
Yes.
Crazy.
Yeah.
And I've been a fan of like samurai movies, so this is everything I love and wrapped up into one video game. So
yeah, like I said, like I think Jin Sakai is the
yeah,
that next major iconic character, like John Marston.
yes,
You know.
just love everything about this game.
Yeah. What pops into your head, like specifically?
Just the whole idea of following the wind and like that whole
Oh,
thing.
great mechanic.
And the music is legendary. The combat system
Best combat in
is
years.
revolutionary.
Yep.
Like, the scenery, forget it. You're not gonna find any better scenery, I don't think.
And what better way to close out the PlayStation 4 generation, you know?
I know.
They're actually getting a free update on Friday, too, with Ghost of Tsushima Legends, which is a multiplayer experience. Probably one of the few that I actually want to play.
Yes.
Absolutely incredible game. Absolutely amazing. And I don't know if you knew this, but it was developed by Sucker Punch, who developed Infamous and Sly Cooper.
Wow.
Yeah. So, moving on to number 3, I think it's only logical... that my number 3 is Red Dead Redemption 2. Again, took 7 years in between sequels, because Rockstar and Naughty Dog, they take their time. You know, we're not talking EA. You know, I'm sorry, EA, but we're not talking EA. But, improved in every way. Just like Uncharted, just like a lot of other games, improved in every single way. Arthur Morgan is just as iconic as Jin Sakai and John Marston. It's probably one of the most emotional, gut-wrenching stories that they've ever told.
By far.
Yep, one of the best open worlds of all time, even better than the first Red Dead Redemption, because you not only get an entire huge original map, you get the entire, you get a brand new map that's even bigger than the original map, like 3 times the size, and is probably the single best instance of video game storytelling, arguably ever. I would say maybe other games at that level are maybe be The Last of Us Part 2 and Ghost of Tsushima. But Red Dead Redemption 2 improved in every way. The graphics will hold up for years to come, and I think it would be a crime not to end up putting that game on PS5. But Roger Clark's performance as Arthur Morgan is just so good. You'll never fall in love with the character more than his.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's so long. They have Red Dead Online. You know, you can keep coming, and you'll never run out of stuff to do when you play Red Dead Redemption 2.
Possibilities are endless with that game.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, I think you might have an idea of where I'm going. I said there were 3 Tony Hawk games on my list.
Okay.
Well, we're
at it?
The original Tony Hawk.
Of course.
Number 3 on my list.
The third Tony Hawk game's number 3. Yeah.
What
a pioneer.
Like that whole 90s era, the music, the culture, it just made you want to be a rebel.
Yeah.
The whole time.
I just want to break things!
You play that game. It's like so much fun.
Yeah. Incredible.
Yeah.
It's like very rarely do you get a game that like so culturally impacts the landscape.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's still relevant. Again, another game that has a remake, the first 2.
I mean, they even made a documentary about it with all the music and everything. So,
And did you play it when it first came out?
Yes.
Yeah, me too.
The Nintendo 64.
Man, I think I played it on PS1.
Yeah, and I remember the cartridge for it was blue. I'm like, that's so cool.
Yeah, different colors. Wow, it's not gray.
Yeah.
You know, I still have to blow in it if it doesn't work though. It gets full of dust.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I think if you're gonna make a top 10 list as far as PlayStation goes, you're gonna have a Tony Hawk game on there.
I got 3. So
yeah.
There you go.
And probably one of the most iconic opening levels of all time, Warehouse.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, excellent. So we are getting close to the end here, folks. But my number 2 is actually Ghost of Tsushima. A little higher than you.
Yeah.
I have it at number 2. Alex, if you're listening to this, please play Ghost of Tsushima. And you already know what number 1 is, Alex. I know you do.
Alex, please play Ghost of Tsushima.
You probably already know what number 1 is, but we'll get there. But yeah, Ghost of Tsushima is... The more I played it, I'm like, all right, is it this good? Oh, wow, it is this good.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, it's actually better. Oh, my God, it's even better. Oh, my God, it's even better than that. And it just kept hitting me in waves. Like, this game is good and better and great and incredible. And it's the most recent game. It came out in July, 3 months ago. And I can already say it's my second favorite game of freaking all time. Already.
I know it. Crazy.
My gosh, Sucker Punch, what have you done with this? It's
3
a masterpiece.
months ago, and then at number 4 for me. So,
Yeah. And quite basically, without spoilers, what you're doing is you're playing a samurai named Jin Sakai, who is trained by his uncle, Lord Shimura, and you have learned this new technique called the Way of the Ghost, and your uncle is a very traditional samurai, and he hates to see that you're going down this different path, but your homeland is being invaded by the Mongol Empire, and you need to learn new techniques to be able to defeat them, so you're trained in the Way of the Ghost. And the game follows a very simple 3-act structure, and each act is a different main objective that your missions are working towards. Then you also have side missions, you have collectibles, you have all these secrets and these unlockables, you have this incredible voice work, you have a game that is probably the best graphics we're going to see before the PlayStation 5 comes out.
By far, I don't see a game coming that could be at least
not on PS4. No,
No,
I think the game that comes close is from what I'm looking at is the Mafia remake. Looks stunning.
Yeah.
But Ghost of Tsushima is number 2 on my list, second only to one other game. But we'll get to that later on. What's your number 2?
My number 2 is Madden NFL 2005.
Oh, of course. That's like, I remember reading in the Book of Old Records, it's one of the greatest selling sports games of all time.
Yes, I mean, it was revolutionary for the hit stick. That was the first game they introduced the hit stick in. It became a staple of the Madden series after its initial run here. And then something that the newer games absolutely fail miserably in.
Please preach it.
You know where I'm going.
Yeah. Yeah, I do.
The franchise mode.
Yep.
You want to talk expensive. It was crazy stuff you can do. Build stadium, set ticket prices. They had mini games that you could play, develop your players. Like, there was so much stuff that's just the tip of the iceberg. You could set prices for like tickets and concessions and merchandise, even parking. Like,
oh man, can you imagine?
It was crazy.
Can you go out into the parking lot as a parking attendant and like wave people into parking spaces?
I will. I will. If they put that in.
Man, so explain to the uninitiated, which is me, what was the hit stick exactly?
It was a defensive technique where you would use the right analog stick to deliver a big hit to the person that had the ball in order to try and cause a fumble.
Oh wow! So that's like a huge thing.
Yeah.
It adds like so much more playability.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. So you ready?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay. Steve, I'm gonna let you guess this one. What remake was announced where I got so excited I nearly fell off my chair?
Oh,
do you remember?
I should know this, but I feel like a bad friend right now.
Do you remember I nearly broke your arm? I was so excited. Okay, so and this is just the remake. I'm talking about the original. But the greatest, in my opinion, video game in all time, in all history, period, end of story. Nothing tops it. Nothing will ever top it. Nothing will ever come close. It is an absolute artistic masterpiece in every sense of the word, and it'll never be touched in any way, shape, or form ever. Is Shadow of the Colossus.
Yep.
You saw,
You nearly broke my arm.
I got so excited when they announced the remake.
Yeah.
I texted a screenshot of the opening scene to my brother, and he's like, "What is this?" So great. But Shadow of the Colossus is it's Fumito Ueda's second game. It's sort of a spiritual prequel to Ico, and he kind of has like this loose world going on where Ico, Shadow of the Colossus, and The Last Guardian might like kind of share the same universe. But that game changed the landscape. It was quiet. It was meditative. It was contemplative. It was like a moving painting. It was a game where you pretty much just fought. It was just boss fights the whole way through.
Nice.
I've never seen a game tell a story that on paper was very linear and very simple. You play a man banished from your village for stealing a sacred sword because you find out that the only way to save the girl you love, who was ritually sacrificed because, they don't really make it clear, but she was ritually sacrificed, and you find out that the only way to save her is to go into the Forbidden Land, which the local shamans have forbidden people from going into, and you have to kill 16 giant creatures in order to resurrect your loved one. The main god, so to speak, Dorman, says if you kill these 16 creatures, you will bring your kind of loved one, your lover, back to life. And so it's this journey to kill these 16 creatures in this land. There's barely any dialogue. Probably hands down the greatest video game score ever written by Ko Otani. Mm-hmm. Forgive me if I'm butchering that name. And there's never going to be another game like it. It's probably the greatest game ever made, or at least people would always say it's in the top 10 no matter what. Yep. You know what I mean? And it just left such an impact, to the point where even movie critic Roger Ebert had to speak up about it, because he was kind of saying, how can video games be art? And then he saw Shadow of the Colossus, and he's like, oh, I'm sorry. I was wrong. Please, I know this is a game that is 15 years old, but I won't spoil because you need to experience it for yourself. But it is just heartbreaking and just incredible and just so epic. You are with your horse and only your horse, and each time you kill a creature, you go back to the hub, which is the castle, and then you go out and find the next one. And it's just that simple. But I've never seen a game tell a simple story, but do it in a way that was so deep, emotionally rich. You can play it 1,000 times and listen to the soundtrack 1,000 times, and you will never get tired of it. It's like movies like The Shining or Star Wars. Like these franchises that you keep going back to over and over again, and you just never get tired of experiencing it again. Now, this is the only game in the series that has come out across 3 platforms. It came out for PS2 in 2005. It was remastered for PS3 in 2011, and then it was remade for PS4 in 2017. And I will tell you right now, if they remake it again for the PS5, I will buy it all over again.
For what, the 3rd time?
Yes.
Nice.
No, the 4th time.
Nice.
Yes. All right, my friend. It's all you.
I bet you have an idea of where I'm
I think I do, but we'll see.
Do you want to guess?
Is it ESPN 2K5?
Yes.
Yes! I got it!
It's ESPN NFL 2K5.
Oh, man. So why is it your top?
Because you want to talk about the perfect sports game you do not have to look any further. I mean, they had a feature that was so ahead of its time that before that game, we've never seen it, and that was first-person football.
Like, revolutionary.
Yes.
And, like, I've seen videos on it, like, with you, and I've never seen a game more fleshed out than that kind of game. Like, oh my gosh, the amount of content is staggering.
Yeah, and the franchise mode, forget it. You could talk players out of retirement. You could play any game you wanted, even if your team wasn't involved. You could, like, watch Sports Center recaps of, like, oh, the games that week. There was so many real details. You could have, like, you could set up practices exactly how you wanted. It was awesome. And the game had a format where they would basically track how you played the game, and then they would put it into this file, and then you could download the file of how you play, and the CPU would play exactly how you play.
That's so ahead of its time. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That is so ahead of its time.
Yeah.
And they can't even replicate that today because EA sucks.
No.
I'm sorry. They do, though.
They do.
They're horrible. They're greedy and horrible.
There's a reason why there's only 3 EA Sports games on my whole list.
Wow.
But they want to be greedy, and they bought the NFL.
Yeah.
I think.
Oh my gosh. Hey, listen. ESPN's making another game, though. I heard, right?
Yeah.
So, or 2K at least is making another game. So, like,
Yeah.
man, let's see if they can replicate that magic. That would be amazing.
Yeah.
Wow. Anything else you want to add?
And they still update the roster every year for that game. That's how popular that game is.
There you go, folks. A 15-year-old game still being updated every year just speaks to the impact that kind of series has, you know?
Yeah.
Man.
Wanna do a few honorable mentions?
Yeah. I'll just go through. I won't talk about them individually. I'll just go through a list of all the honorable mentions on my list. But if we're doing like a top 25, these would be in that. I have Ni no Kuni: The Wrath of the White Witch, an incredible JRPG for PS3. Spider-Man 2, one of the best superhero video games ever made on the PS2. Infamous and Infamous 2, an incredible series starring Cole McGrath and his friend Zeke from the creators of Sly Cooper. I have The Last of Us, which probably would have been number 11 on this list.
Yep.
I have Assassin's Creed Brotherhood and Assassin's Creed Origins. Assassin's Creed Brotherhood is my favorite game in that franchise, and Origins returned the franchise to its beautiful form. I have Journey, a 2-hour-long masterpiece of a game that almost feels a little bit like Shadow of the Colossus.
2 hours?
That's it. It's only $10, I think, but it is worth the price. So good. You just play this guy that is attempting to get to a mountain that's in the distance, and that's it. It's called Journey for a reason.
All right.
Tony Hawk Underground 2, Destroy All Humans 2, which I think I like a little more than the first one. Pokemon Yellow Special Pikachu Edition, the first Game Boy game I've ever played. And the first 3 Crash Bandicoot games.
There you go.
What about you?
I'll just mention a few because I got multiple. Mario Kart 64.
Nice.
I love that.
Elmo's Counting Adventure? I'm only kidding.
And that is the first game I ever played. What's the name? sorry folks, I'm blanking. I'll get back to that. NHL 08 is
Okay.
on my list.
What made that game so good? Just real quick.
Just for the simulation type hockey game, it was the best of the best.
Yeah, nice.
Tiger Woods PGA Tour 2006.
Oh, wow.
It was such a simple game, not a lot of features in it, but enough to have a good time. And the one that I couldn't think of was the Mass Effect series.
Oh, Mass Effect. Yeah, huge.
I love the story in most.
Yeah, the guy's name is Shepard, I think, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
And then I guess, of course, this is not on either of our lists because we really never played them. But if we're going to give Xbox any kind of a pass, you got to talk about Halo and how much of an impact Halo had.
Yeah.
You know, even though their newest game is delayed because the graphics are horrible.
Yeah.
Sorry, Xbox, not sorry.
Sorry, but if you want one more, the Destiny games were pretty good too.
Yeah, Destiny. Yeah, I played the first one quite a lot, and that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yep. And then, of course, all the other Sly Cooper and Jack and Daxters are almost just as good. Jack 2 and 3 are incredible, and Sly 2 and 3 and even 4 are really, really, really fun games.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Need for Speed, Heat, and Need for Speed
Wanted.
Most Wanted, Need for Speed, Hot Pursuit 2 for the PS2.
There's so many. Rivals is pretty good.
Yeah, there's a lot of good ones. Well, I think that about wraps it up. We're really excited about this kind of sort of new rebranding. So expect newer formats. We'll talk about our favorite things. We'll talk about specific topics. We'll talk about movies. We're gonna have a lot of fun.
If you want to suggest topics for us to
please do.
Talk about,
we are consumer friendly. We want to give you what you want to hear. So if you want to hear something, let us know.
Use hashtag suggestions.
Yes, there are a lot of hashtags to remember. No, just two.
Just two. So
use hashtag I can't remember this hashtag, but I think it's going to get me some kind of result from the co-host of Audible Grown. Don't forget that one.
If you have any suggestions, hashtag suggestions.
Yes.
And then to share your top 10 video game list, it's VG Top 10.
Awesome. Well, thank you for listening so much, guys. Let us know your top 10 favorite video games of all time as we move into a new console generation that only includes PlayStation 5, not Xbox. They don't exist to me. I'm sorry.
It's only a month away.
The Xbox Series something. I don't know. They're confusing. I'm sorry, but they are.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm sorry to rag on Xbox, but I'm not really. It's a lot of fun. But it's okay. You can rag on PlayStation if you want. Please, feel free.
And go Pats.
Yes, go Pats. Beat the Broncos.
Sorry to all the Mahomes fans out there.
Yeah, I'm sorry. He kind of fell apart.
My heart goes out to you.
Yes.
But not.
And I'm really sorry for Jets fans that you get a new quarterback and he still sucks.
Yeah.
Even as much as Sam Darnold. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
And I'm really sorry about Jimmy Garoppolo. And I'm really sorry that actually I'm truly sorry about Dak Prescott. Not joking this time. That was horrible.
Yeah.
And I'm just excited to have Cam Newton and Stephon Gilmore back because Brian Hoyer just go flip burgers somewhere, please.
Get well soon, Dak Prescott.
Yes, absolutely. Please. All right, peace out.
Peace.
Thank you for listening. We hope you enjoyed the show. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, and until next time, we hope you don't audibly groan.